This is the legend of the poinsettia, a Mexican story. In a small village in Mexico, many years ago, there lived a poor girl named Pepita. She lived with her cousin, Pedro, and their grandmother in a tiny adobe house. They had very little, but they were happy, and grandmother taught them that love was worth more than gold. As Christmas Eve approached, the whole village buzzed with excitement. Everyone was preparing gifts to place before the nativity scene in the church, the most important tradition of their celebration. The wealthy brought gold and silver, fine cloths, and beautiful candles. Even the poorest families managed to bring something.
Pita watched sadly as her neighbors prepared their offerings. Pedro had carved a small wooden figure to give. Grandmother had embroidered a small cloth, despite her failing eyesight, but Pita had nothing. She had no skills like theirs and no money to buy even the simplest gift. On Christmas Eve, as the sun began to set, Pepita told her family she couldn't go to church. "How can I go with empty hands?" she asked, tears streaming down her face. "Everyone will see that I have nothing to offer the Christ child. I'm too ashamed." Pedro put his arm around his cousin's shoulders. "Pepita, don't you remember what grandmother always says?" Grandmother looked up from her sewing and smiled gently. "The Christ child looks not at what we give, but at the love in our hearts when we give it. The poorest gift given with true love is worth more than the richest gift given from duty." Pepita wiped her tears. She wanted to believe grandmother's words, but her heart still felt heavy.
As they walked towards the church, she lagged behind, watching people carry their beautiful gifts. Along the roadside, common weeds grew, the kind that grew everywhere that no one wanted, that everyone ignored. Pepita stopped walking. These weeds were all that she had. They were worthless, but at least they were something. With trembling hands, she gathered a small bundle of the roadside weeds, trying to arrange them as nicely as possible. They looked pitiful in her arms, wilted, common, nothing special. But they were given with all the love in her heart. The church was crowded when they arrived, lit with hundreds of candles. The nativity scene stood in the front, and already dozens of beautiful gifts surrounded it. Pepita walked slowly down the aisle, her bundle of weeds clutched tightly to her chest. People whispered as she passed. Some looked at her with pity, others seemed embarrassed for her. But Pepita kept walking, remembering grandmother's words. The Christ child looks at the love in our hearts. She knelt before the nativity scene and gently placed her bundle of weeds at the feet of the baby Jesus. "This is all I have," she whispered, her voice breaking, "but I give it with all my love."
The dull green leaves began to glow. The plain brown stems straightened and strengthened. And then, before the amazed eyes of everyone in the church, the top leaves burst into a brilliant crimson red, so bright and beautiful that they seemed to blaze like flames. The congregation gasped. Never had anyone seen such beautiful flowers. The first poinsettias had appeared, created by God himself to honor a poor girl's loving gift. Pepita learned that night what grandmother had always known. God cherishes every gift given with a sincere, loving heart. The size of our offer doesn't matter. What matters is the love we put into it. And sometimes, when we give all we have, even if it seems like nothing, God transforms it into something more beautiful than we could ever imagine. Make sure you come to one of our live concerts. It's so much fun. All our tour dates are listed on our website at theroyalkellys.com. That's where you can see if we're performing in your area. Also, we keep developing original artwork for our band merchandise like t-shirts. So make sure to check out what's new at our online store. All details are in the description as well. We had so much fun entertaining you today. Thank you for watching.